James Foster, Senior Vice President, Global Marketing and Brand Communications, Hugo Boss. Why is sport and fashion a good fit?
I think there's so many connections across sport and fashion. One, we want athletes to look amazing and perform great, and we've got 100 years of tailoring experience, so it's about our core competence applied into one of the most ultimate authentication kind of platforms. And we've been doing it for 50 years. The history of the brand is rich, and sport has been part of our existence, part of our history, part of our DNA for such a long time. So the values, I think, overlap perfectly.
What criteria or key criteria are shaping a good partnership for Hugo Boss?
I think shared values, without question. The shared values of Boss and the shared values of athletes or clubs are something that we always look to connect with. I think secondly, authenticity. It's not just about putting logos on things, it's about building meaning and building proper conversations that fans and consumers believe and want to take part in. So authenticity, without question, is absolutely essential. I think there's also, what is the meaning behind the partnership? If it feels transactional, fine, it can work, but when it becomes something bigger than that and it's transformational, I think it gets really interesting. And how we can drive a cultural conversation together, that's the real magic that we look to try to create. And when we have those things, then I think it's a win-win for both sides.
And how do you measure your partnerships and how you define a successful partnership?
I mean, lots of different ways. I mean, we can measure success in partnerships through the basic things of how many units of a jersey or a product that we sell, but also in terms of media impact value, how much does it generate in terms of fan connection and conversation across all the social platforms. And more broadly, we look at how do we measure brand health, which is a much bigger metric of, is this brand seen as authentic and believable? And for Boss, that's critical that we keep pushing and working hard to be seen as a relevant brand and a brand that people believe and want to obviously come and buy the amazing suits that we create from. So we look at it in all of those dimensions. Obviously geographic reach as well, demographic reach. We're always looking for new ways of being relevant, whether it's in markets in the Far East or traditional markets. It's always what is the role, and there could be very strategic, very specific roles, as well as very broad, very wide goals as well.
So, looking forward to the future, what could you imagine, or what would you imagine could be a big step or a big impact for Boss sponsorship?
I'm not going to give away the secrets right now, but we're very excited about some partnerships that we'll have coming in the next 12 months or so. But look, we've got that 50 years behind us, but we're incredibly excited about the future ahead. Whether it's individual athletes and continuing with Taylor so that he wins his first Grand Slam, fingers crossed for him, as well as across the many other platforms that we're on. So Formula One, obviously a very exciting space. So even more visibility, but more not just the logo, but the fact that Boss is part of these conversations. That's what I'm excited about. And we'll work with partners and we'll sign athletes and platformers and institutions and clubs and everything if it makes sense. The partnership is kind of mutually beneficial and it makes sense in order for us to be a strong brand into the future.
What are your impressions of today's summit?
So far, very good. It was really exciting to hear about AC Milan just now. Really great examples of how clubs are also leaning into the space of fashion and entertainment, and this blurred lines that are now existing across sport, entertainment and fashion, I think is something that I've already witnessed already, and previous speakers as well, talking about the explosion in popularity from Formula One. I think those things, again, have given me some validation of our strategy, but also given me some fresh ideas around what we should be doing looking into the future.